Hey, welcome to episode 4 of Work Hard, Dream Big with your host, Shelby McGill. Today I've got a guest in from the Oklahoma State University. We talk a little bit about her recruiting process and some of the achievements she achieved there, and also a little bit about my recruiting process and everything that I went through. And it's going to be a great learning experience for anyone who is looking to continue their athletics into college. So make sure you check it out. Let me know what you think. Lana Duke here with us from the Oklahoma State University. Lana, what have you been up to? How have you been?
I've actually just started medical school, so I'm in anatomy right now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's our second week. It's going good, but it's a lot of information. So.
Oh yeah, I've taken anatomy at Rose, and you're probably taking it at what, OU?
And actually, the School of Osteopathic Medicine up here in Tulsa, OSU.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a medical school up here. So. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's osteopathic medicine. Do you know osteopathic medicine?
I don't know.
What it means? Okay, so it's just the same thing as MD. Like, you do the same schooling, same testing, but osteopathic, it's more of a preventative standpoint, and we have an extra tool in our bag called osteopathic manipulative medicine. So we can palpate you, like, instead of just giving you medicine, like, oh, here, take this. We just listen to you. It's more a holistic approach, and it depends on patient to patient, of course. But so we have manipulative techniques where we can manipulate the body to help it get back into place to heal on its own and properly. So yeah, I liked it because it's more holistic, more preventative approach. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I would say I was jealous, but I'd taken anatomy once, and
yeah,
it's
a lot.
It's a very lot, and so
yes.
I definitely don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Got the
where are you at now? Have you graduated, or what are you up to? You're working, you said?
Yeah, I just graduated from Rose State. I played, so I'm going to kind of scoot back a little bit. And so the reason I reached out to you and interviewed you was because while you were playing at OSU, I came and watched a few games and found you on Instagram and kind of kept up with your career playing. And so I was like, this would be perfect to sit down and talk to her and see from my standpoint of playing at, yes, a D1 JUCO, and then hearing your standpoint of playing at a D1, OSU. And so I just finished at Rose State this last May. I'm not sure where I'm going to continue to go to school at.
What did you graduate with?
I graduated with a associate's in applied sciences. Okay. So I was leaning more towards radiology, personal experiences, but I've kind of taken a step back to really look at what I want to do for the rest of my life, because I don't want to go to school and spend money if it's not something I'm going to be happy doing.
Exactly.
And then I started this podcast up and love doing it. I love getting to sit down with people and talk about their experiences and their reasons and just their standpoint on life. And so I'm kind of taking this summer to kind of lean back and just kind of let God determine where my future lies. And so that's what I'm doing. Cool. Not a whole lot right now.
No, that's good though. You want to do what makes you happy, and I mean, and you're in the right spot. I feel like just listening to people and just connections helps too, and just keeping your eyes and heart open, and never know what you'll fall into. And we live so long now. You could do whatever, and then decide to go back to school or do something different.
Something else.
Like so it'll all work out. It'll all be good.
Yeah, I kind of quit stressing about it a while ago and just kind of relaxed and told myself that whatever was going to happen, whether I can control it or not. So I'm just figuring out what life's bringing on me.
Yeah, well, good.
So you graduated from OSU, last year or the year before?
No, actually this May also. So.
Oh, this May? But were you eligible to play this last season?
I mean, I took all 4 years. I redshirted my freshman year, so I technically have one more year of eligibility. but I didn't graduate early. I graduated on time with my class, but I wanted to go to medical school, so I decided not to take my red shirt.
So what was your recruiting? You went to Edmond Memorial, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay. What was your recruiting process like with
That,
OSU?
I mean, it was a little different. My stories, I wasn't like all gung ho, I'm going to OSU, I'm committed, blah, blah. I mean, it's so sad because college women's soccer is recruiting is so early.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
7th,
hate
8th,
it.
ninth grade, you're
Yeah,
committed.
it's
You're done.
awful. And so I think I was like in my sophomore year. So sophomore year in high school is kind of late, for women's soccer. So I had been to a million different soccer camps. Luckily, my parents, they were so supportive enough and could finance me to go to college ID camps. So we went to North Carolina was my dream school. So
Mine
of
too.
course, they're the dynasty of women's soccer.
Oh yeah.
So I went to what first started off as Navy, the Naval Academy. My brother was there at an intensive wrestling camp, and so I went there. This was, I think, I was like in 8th grade of middle school or 7th grade. I was super young, or even 6th grade. Shoot, I don't know. I was in middle school, and so I went to this Navy soccer camp, and Karen Cabrera, she was on the World Cup team. She has gold medals. She's awesome. And so at the end of the camp, they're like, "We want you. We want you to come to Navy." I was like, oh, so that kind of lit the fire. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I could go play." And so, so that was super early, but of course, like it's a commitment. And so I decided I didn't want to do that. So I traveled to a lot of soccer camps, went to UNC, Duke, Wake Forest, South Carolina, Miami. Let's see. Yeah, those are probably the top ones I was looking at, and I went to camps too. And then and Memphis was interested in me, and UCF. And so I went to a lot of those camps, and then Memphis was really interested in me, and so I took my first official. I don't know if it's an official. I forget. It was so long ago, but I visited Memphis, and I loved it. This was sophomore year in high school, and I loved it. I loved the girls. I loved the coaches, and they're very competitive every year. Memphis is always up there, and so they set me down and gave me everything but like food. So it was pretty much a full ride. And a sophomore in high school, everyone's already committed, and I love the program. I'm like, heck yeah. So I committed to them, a verbal commitment, of course, which is with women's soccer is pretty tied down.
Yeah.
Verbals are big. And then so I committed to them, and I then going throughout high school, like my junior year, I was like, is that really where I want to spend 4 years? My family, my mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa, they literally went to every single soccer practice, not games, but soccer practice. So I had a huge support system here, and I wanted to play. Thinking about it, I just wanted to play in front of my family and friends and play for Oklahoma, anywhere in Oklahoma. So it was the hardest decision of my life at that point to call the coaches at Memphis, where they had so much invested in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was going to play. I probably most likely would be going to play. And I called them. I was like, this is not the best decision for me. I'm sorry. It breaks my heart, but I can't see myself spending 4 years here. And so the coaches, they were super nice. And of course, he was like, yes, I'm disappointed, but it's your life. You got to do what you're happy with.
Yeah, most
you don't
coaches
want
are
to come
pretty
here.
understanding.
Yeah, he was very nice. He was understanding. So I decommitted. And then this was like, I want to say like end of junior year. Yeah, junior year. So I knew I wanted to stay in Oklahoma. So I went to, hate to say it, OU soccer camp. I just kept my options open. OU, Tulsa, and OSU. Their soccer camps, and I loved OU. I loved the coaches. Honestly, I loved TU. But then at the end of the day, I was born and raised OSU. I bleed orange. So, and I knew, like looking at the roster, they had Delaney Kiley, Kelsey Bass, like national pool team players
Yeah, that
on
went
their
on.
roster. Yeah, and I was like, I don't care like how hard it's going to be. I'm one of those players anyways that if I have to work my way up and work hard, I'm a hard worker. Like
You're going to get there and you're going to better
that's
yourself
where
doing it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I decided to go with OSU even though it would be a harder route. And so I was a preferred walk on, committed to them like on signing day, like sitting by all my teammates. Like they had actually like real national letters of intent. And I was, of course, verbally committing, which is a huge thing. I mean, a preferred walk on. So,
yeah, still a big deal.
But they still accepted me onto the team. So my first year, yeah, I didn't get any scholarship, but then I worked my way into a little bit of scholarship, which I was very thankful for. So yeah, that's kind of my recruiting process. Just because I had been to their soccer camps. Of course, Justin and Colin had come to see a lot of the games, and Karen too, and sat on our sidelines. So that was kind of my process of going through it all.
Your first year, and maybe you thought, yeah, probably, this is really hard. Maybe I'm not going to get a scholarship. Is it worth it? Like, was there ever a point where you thought that?
Oh gosh, yes.
You're like every day.
In the summer before we even started, the culture honestly was not what I was expecting from just the girls. It wasn't hard enough, and it wasn't a Division 1 mindset, and which is really sad. But that goes hand in. I'm gonna do a little tangent, but I mean that just it's hard to get girls that are talented and have the heart
and want to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these girls were national team players and they were talented, but they maybe didn't have to work as hard and
took it for granted a little bit.
Yeah, they took it a little bit for granted. So freshman year, all the freshmen came in the summer to do classes and to work out and things, and we had been there all summer. We just didn't get really welcomed, and it was tough. Just the culture of because I'm a defender. So in practice, whenever it was season, well, backing up, still in preseason, like I'm gonna work my butt off. Like I love fitness. That is my thing. Like fitness is awful. Yeah, it's disgusting, but I've kind of like made myself like it. So if I like it, and so I did really well, and I beat a lot of the girls, and they were mad at me. I'm like, this is a competitive environment, or it should be. So that was one thing that was like, it just kind of like made me want to beat them even more because I was like, you guys should be pushing yourself. So that was kind of different. The culture coming in, we knew it was going to be kind of rocky. We as in the freshman class. And so in season, I'm a defender and I'm supposed to be biting at your heels, tough, not letting anybody by me. And a lot of the girls would be like, what are you doing? Like, this is just practice, blah, blah, blah. And just I was totally taken off guard. And I was not myself my freshman year because the culture was I was like blown away. I was like, this is Division 1, like the top.
It should be all out every single day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there were some days that were like that, but it was just really weird to me. So I was just really taken a step back by that. And it was tough. Yeah. I remember like calling my mom and dad every day and like, oh my gosh, this is so awful. Like I almost hung up my cleats, and I remember talking to them. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like this is so bad. And of course, when you're not playing, like of course,
it's hard.
It's just awful. But then I was like deep down, and of course, my mom and dad are so supportive of anything I do. And so they're like, yeah, okay, if you want to hang up your cleats, we're like, go ahead. There's more things in life to do. You can focus on your academics, blah, blah, blah. So they're all for it. But something deep down inside, I was like, no. Like, I'm not a quitter. Like, I've played soccer for freaking 17 years, and my family has gone to multiple, like, millions and billions of practices, games. Like, this is our life, pretty much. I was like, I got to finish what I started and make the most out of it. And I am so glad I did. That was one of the best decisions, and just that I could have done is not to hang up my cleats and just to make the best out of it. And so that freshman year, I was really taken off guard. But then it was a huge learning, character building, and taking on different roles for sure. So yeah, that was my freshman year. And my teammates, my class was really awesome. From our freshman year, we talked about it and we knew like this is not the culture that we should have here at OSU. We need to change it. We want to be able to go out before practice and get extra touches in and not be judged. We should want to beat each other in fitness. We should want to ask for extra work and get better and work hard in practice. And so that was the culture of my freshman class. Like we knew we wanted to change. So each year, little by little, we once some of the girls graduated, and granted there were some hard workers, and even the girls that were talented, they worked hard, but it's just not like it was not a good team dynamic. We just did not play well together. And so little by little, we started building the culture back up. And this senior year, yeah, so this past fall 2017, it had gotten to where our freshman class, like my incoming class, where we thought it should be. Girls were going out and getting touches before practice, staying later, doing extra work, pushing each other. And we were actually a team. We went out to eat. We actually talked amongst each other. Like we're just open. And you could tell on the playing field too how drastic that change was. And one of our most loyal fans, he's been to every single home game since our existence, pretty much, I think, except for one game. His name's Dean, and he sits by my mom and dad. He said, he came up to me this year and was like, "You guys are a team, aren't you?" It's like, I can tell. You guys actually, you could tell on the field.
It makes a difference if you're
It does. It does.
close off the field as well as on the
Yeah.
field. You play completely different.
For sure. So that's why this year it was great because we got that culture back of hard working, want to get better, competitive, a team. So yeah, that was like my freshman year was rough. And then sophomore year, I worked my butt off. Spring, I was like, what the heck just happened to me in the fall? I was like, this is not me. So I got it back together, and actually my sophomore year I started and played every single game up in like for 3/4 of the season. And then I played defensive mid, and they decided they needed a better header in there for a specific game, and then she just stayed in the rest of the season. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to change out time with her, but I mean, it is what it is. The team did well, so if the team's doing well, I'll be the best cheerleader I can. So it went from not playing, graduating my freshman year, to playing 3/4 and starting 3/4 of the season sophomore year, which is awesome. That was such a cool experience, getting to travel, play, sweat. Like, it was so much fun just being on the pitch and getting to be one of the crucial players. And at that time, I didn't even know what was happening. I was just out there playing. And then at the end of the season, I was like, what the heck? I just started and played like almost every single game. So that was really cool. And then my junior year, I didn't even travel. And at this point, I understood my roles. So if I wasn't playing, I was going to be the best cheerleader I could be. And I would be the best I could be at practice to make my other teammates better. And then my senior year, I traveled, but I played here and there. I didn't start often or didn't play a ton of minutes, but at least I got to travel with the team. And once again, if I was on the bench, I would be yelling, I'd be positive. Whatever role I was put in, I'd do my best just to make the team better, have that environment, have a positive environment. So yeah, that was kind of my 4 years there. It was ups and downs and a lot of character building, but it was definitely worth it.
I agree. The thing that got me most through my experience was the preseason workouts. I'm talking the 3 weeks of preseason you went through. of 3-a-days. I don't know what you guys did, but we did 3-a-days: morning, evening, morning, afternoon, and then evening.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 weeks will make or break you as an athlete. Like, and if you don't tell yourself you've got to get through this, whether you like it or not, you will not make it through it. And the rest of the season will be downhill from there. And so I understand those. I enjoy, and I don't understand how I played soccer my whole life and not enjoyed the running and not necessarily the running, but the fitness. And I'm talking about the suicides, the Chelseas, all. And maybe that's because I ran so many in high school and in college, but those are not my. Now you get me on a core workout or weights, and touches, ball work, I'm game all day long. But as an athlete, I feel like a lot of the younger generation don't. They want to get the credit for the work, but they want to put the work in.
Right.
I think as a society, as an athletic society, we need to coach those younger generations up to not necessarily have the mindset of the work can be done for me without the hard work. If that makes sense.
I totally agree.
My recruiting process was a little different. I went to a couple OSU camps and UCO, and I wasn't necessarily looking to go D1.
Yeah.
That was what I would like to have done, but I knew I wasn't quite at the skill level and have I'm 5'1.5" and weigh 112 pounds soaking wet. I mean, I'm not the biggest girl around. And so I knew that. I knew I didn't have the physical abilities to necessarily play at a D1 level, but I had speed and foot skill that could maybe have gotten me there.
Yeah.
And so I went to a couple OSU camps. I talked to Colin. Well, my sophomore year, the second day of school my sophomore year, I tore my ACL and set me back probably 2 years. And so at that point, I was looking more smaller schools, UCO, as well as academics, because I knew that regardless, academics was what I needed to focus on more than soccer, but I still wanted to play. And so Coach Solomon at Rose, he'd been talking to me, and at the time he didn't have a scholarship for me, and so I was planning on just walking on. Yeah. And he called me one day in the summer, and he said, "Hey, I need you to come up here to the office as soon as you can." And I was like, "Oh God, I'm getting kicked off the team, and the season hasn't even started yet."
Yeah.
And so I went up there, and he said, "I need you to sign this." And I was like, "Well, what is it?" He said, "This is your full ride." And so he paid for books, tuition. I mean, we didn't have on-campus stays and all that, but we had meal plans and all that he had paid for, which, like you said, helps out tremendously and makes a difference. Yeah. So gave me a full ride and committed there, signed all that away for the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I went to a 4A school, which is nothing like Edmond Memorial. You guys would have stomped us in high school any day of the week. But at a 4A school, I played forward, and so I was an important attacking player. So when I got to college, it basically broke my heart because I wasn't as big of a player as I was in high school. And so I had to emotionally adapt to not starting every game and sometimes getting pulled out of the game for something I didn't necessarily understand why I was being pulled out, and not necessarily getting told exactly what I was getting pulled out for. And so it was a lot of ups and downs, like you say, happen your freshman year, and you want to hang your cleats up, but you committed to something that you have to give 110% on. And if you don't, you're going to look back 10 years from now and say, what if I had finished that sophomore year and you started those 3/4 season games, and if you'd have quit, you never would have known that you could have done something like that.
Yeah.
And so like you said, it's pretty incredible feeling.
It is.
Being able to play and score those, for me, score the goals and be an impact to the team, whether it's on the bench or on the field.
Right.
And being able to say you were a part of that.
Yeah.
I understand that. So you said you're going to school now and going to medical school. How long until you finish that?
It's a 5-year program. So of medical school. This first year is actually a bridge year. I will be technically a med school student year 1 next year. So this year is just kind of getting our foot in the door, and the curriculum's cut in half. I'm actually I qualified because my MCAT score was not what it needed to be, and I'm Native. That was the qualifications of this bridge, is disadvantaged groups or just a different, not a traditional way of getting to medical school. Some students, there's 10 of us in this bridge class, and one has been out for 5 years working with Medicare. A couple have gotten their masters. So it's a very broad, different group. And so it's not a traditional way to get into medical school, but I'm so glad. It's such a perfect program for me. So happy I'm in it. Very thankful for that. And so yeah, I am a medical student, but it's cut in half, so it's manageable. And talking to a lot of the regular medical students, they're like, oh my gosh, I envy you guys. I envy the bridge students because you guys actually get to learn the material and not like just regurgitate it. And they said it's insane that they have to learn, and it'll still be tough for us, but we get to learn it more in depth since it's cut in half. So yeah, I'm in here for 5 years, and then I have a residency which will be like 2 to 3 years depending on what I want to do. And I want to do primary care and help underserved populations and get back to my native community, the Chickasaws, in rural Oklahoma, wherever there is need for physicians. I want to be able to go out and give people access to medical care. And I have a degree in nutrition, so I'm very passionate about nutrition as well, and just total well-being and health. So I want to be able to give rural populations in underserved areas, hopefully help them get access to healthy food and help them help them just be healthy and active. So, and not just treating the disease, but actually knowing the person and more of the holistic approach. So I'm really excited where I am and where I'm going, and I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've been given. So I'm excited.
Are you working right now too?
No, it's medical school is definitely they say a full-time job. So that's my job, is school. And so I have a couple things I want to, like my goals of going to medical school. I want to get 8 hours of sleep every night. I want to get good grades. I want to take care of my body and work out every day. So those are my goals. And then we were actually in class anatomy lab today, and I was talking to one of the MS2 students, and it was really awesome. That's like this bridge, this anatomy class that we're taking. They said it's it's for us to learn anatomy, get exposure to it, but also learn survival skills for medical school. And so we talked to this one MS2 student, and it was so awesome to talk to him and seeing what helped him get through medical school. And he said he wanted to take care of his body, get good grades, and work out. And I was like, oh my gosh, those are my goals too. And so it was really nice to talk to him and see what helped him and worked for him and what didn't. So I'm excited.
It's always nice to surround yourself around, other people who have the same goals and achievements that you want in life and have the same motives. And
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So do you have any advice for former recruits that are possibly looking at playing collegiate level sports, whether it be soccer, football, basketball, golf, whatever?
I would definitely say do it. Don't question it. Just do it. And whatever you do, put everything into it. And first of all, have a support system. Don't be afraid. Call your mom, dad. Go see your academic counselors. You need a support system, whatever you do. That's the most important thing. But yeah, for sure, do college athletics, whatever level it is. It's an amazing experience. And whenever you take that step and that decision to be a college athlete, I mean, just being a college athlete, that's so impressive to say, too. Like, looking back, I'd be like, yeah, I played soccer at OSU, and it has taught me so much. And I've learned so much from it. And besides the fact that, I mean, that's the most important thing. I learned so much. It's such a great experience. But it also does look good on resumes for jobs. People love student athletes in medical school and the workplace. I mean, because athletics teaches you so much: how to work hard, how to be committed, teamwork, everything you need to be successful. And so it teaches great life lessons. It gives you a team, gives you a family. I couldn't imagine my life without athletics. It gave me such structure in my life too, like how to just live. So it's amazing. Do it.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then when you're an athlete, don't just think about being an athlete and going to school. Try and be a well-rounded person. Do well academically, of course, but give back to the community. Be involved. That's how you follow your passions outside of school and your athletics. Like, I love volunteering. I love giving back to my community. And it's all about time management. Yes, you have the time to join clubs. You have the time to volunteer and give back to your community. You just have to make the time. Instead of sitting on the couch for an hour at lunch or in the evening, take that time to go volunteer or something. And so that would be my biggest thing. When you're a student athlete in college, be well-rounded, go be involved. That's how you get connections, find your passions. You feel good about giving back. Other experiences come from it. I was actually part of the Division I NCAA council. And so I got to go to this past year. I got to go to meetings and actually propose NCAA legislation as the voice of the Big 12. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I knew there needed to be a bridge to be gapped between the national level and our institution, which was the Big 12 conference. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to them. I was like, we need someone in this position. So
here you are.
So yeah, and it's SAC. It's the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Every single institution, athletic NCAA institution, has a SAC. Go find your Student Athlete Advisory Committee and get involved. And it was a great experience. I was never interested in legislation or governance before, but it was awesome because you're actually changing it. They listen to the student athlete voice. Go find your SAC, be involved, and be well-rounded. So that's what I would say.
Do you have any questions you would tell people to ask coaches, administration, counselors, anything before committing to a school? Would you say?
Yes. Academics, for sure. Go somewhere. Yes, you want to play, but go somewhere. You're there for your academics, for your future. Very few of us go pro. You could still go pro at any level, I think, but and I believe, but you're there for your academics and your future. Go to a school that has your major, has what you're interested in. It kills me whenever I hear a student athlete saying, yeah, I had to switch my major because they didn't think I'd be able to graduate on time. BS. Freaking, if they do have your major and your academic advisor says you can't do this, do it anyways because it can be done. Just time management and dedication. So academics is the big key, I think.
Well, mine would be, I'm going to shoot mine out here real fast
so
people get that feeling. And you pretty much nailed the academics on the head. If you're not going to go to school for something you want to do for a career, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And so, but leaning more towards the sports, ask questions like, what do you want out of me as a player? What do you expect out of me? What what kind of formation do you run? What kind of goals do you have? Just simple questions like that to get to know your coach will let you know whether that is going to be a good fit for you. If your coach has the same goals as you, if your coach has the same game mindset as you, those are important things to know before you verbally commit to some place, because you may get there and they run a formation when you have no idea what it is, or you get there and your coach doesn't want speed and skill. They want slow possession and working the ball forward. Small things like that to me would have helped tremendously in my recruiting process. And so small questions, my advice to people is small questions about your coach and the way he played, or the way, and talking to even players that have played there that are seniors or juniors or sophomores or whatever, and get their opinions on, did you like the formation? What does he want out of players? Getting their take as well as the coaches is, I think, so important.
Yeah.
That's my take on that. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I appreciate you for talking with me. Is there anything else you want to add to this before we close it on out?
I think we nailed everything on the head. But.
Well, I appreciate you for getting back with me and talking with me. This concludes episode 4 of Work Hard, Dream Big with me, Shelby McGill. If anyone has any concerns or might want some more questions about the recruiting process and wants to learn a little bit more about it, or you have questions about a certain school, or, some questions to ask, I am free to anyone who would like to talk a little bit more about it. I want to help anyone as much as I can. And so I hope everyone enjoyed this and it helped. Thanks for listening.